going on YouTube? JMOS here. We're going to take a quick look at a budget-friendly laptop here. This is the Maestro E-book 11. This is really budget, like 150 bucks or less. So is it worth it to go that low? So right now I'm going to show you the design real quick. As expected, it's all plastic. There's practically no metal at all on this thing except the internals. So you see they have the port selection there, USB 3, one USB-C port. This is a fanless computer, so there is no fan on this thing, as I show you right there. So that will greatly reduce its capabilities, but that's what we expect for a budget. Here's the charger that it comes with. It is not detachable, and it is a barrel connector, so this is a proprietary charger, so make sure you keep that and don't lose it, because otherwise it'll be hard to charge. As expected with budget, the design is what you expect. Everything is plastic. It creaks and has some bend points, but overall it's a laptop, so it has everything you need. Keyboard, which is actually pretty decent for what you get. Trackpad, and then of course your screen. So we're gonna go over everything on this thing, and I'll do my best to portray, if it's worth it or not. As you can see, the trackpad is really small compared to what laptops are offering nowadays. It does have gesture control, so that's good. It'll help you a lot in terms of scrolling. You could double tap on it instead of pressing the buttons like most budget laptops have. So you don't need to go for the actual clickable buttons to make it work. So this is what the screen looks like. It is pretty low quality as I expect, so you're gonna get a lot of bleed and poor color contrast, but hey, at least it works. It does come with Windows 10 Pro Education Edition, which is actually pretty good. So you'll at least get a good version of Windows on it. So I'll go over these specs of this thing in a little bit, but this is basically the design of the computer. You definitely get what you pay for, but it is actually pretty good for a budget. Keyboard's good, trackpad's usable because of gesture controls. It does not have any biometrics at all, so just keep that in mind. The lid is a bit stiff, but overall it's pretty good for what you pay for. So we're going to start going into the specs real quick to show you what it has and what it can and can't do. But overall, the design is what you expect. It's really small, compact, but cheap nevertheless. So now we're going to go over the specs of this computer. This is an 11.6 inch laptop. It's running an HD screen, 1080p. It's running an Intel Celeron processor, as you see there on screen. 64 gigs of onboard memory, only 4 gigs of RAM. These are not expandable, so you cannot change these out. It does have an LTE chip inside, so if you want to pair it with a cellular connection, you can. It has Wi-Fi AC and Bluetooth 4. So pretty mid specs for now. It's the modern times. And as I show you on the computer, I'm going to go ahead and go over what it can and can't do. So as you see here, I'm showing the internals now. It has a really good battery, about 5+ hours of on-screen time, which is really good for a budget computer. Nothing in here is expandable. As you can see on the top right, you see the heat sink. That's your only cooling option. This doesn't have a fan, so thermals is going to be a bit of an issue if you push this thing. The LTE chip is in the center at the top, and I'll point it out later, but that's the only thing you can remove on here. And you can replace it with an internal SATA drive to expand the internal memory. But the big issue that you're going to run into on this particular machine is the RAM. It's only 4 gigs, and that does not include what Windows uses. So you're going to only be able to do really one task on this thing, and that's basically you can't have multiple things open like Google Chrome and Microsoft Word, because you're probably going to run out of memory. So this is really only meant for simple one-trick tasks, i.e. like researching on the web browser or typing up documents on Microsoft Word, but that's basically it. You probably won't be able to multitask on this thing because of the RAM, it being so short, and you can't expand it. So as you see, I'm pointing out the chip here. That's the only thing you can remove on here, and you can replace it with an internal drive. But the big thing, like I said, is the RAM. So just keep that in mind. If you buy this thing, you won't be able to do much on it because of that limitation. So now we're going to go over some of the opening of applications, some of the tasks I'm talking about, and you're going to see what I mean. It's responsive initially, but it takes a long time, and this is because of the RAM limitations. So I'll open up a few applications here. But all in all, if you're going to go budget on a computer, I would recommend just going a little more expensive. This is a little too cheap for my liking. They cut too many corners and you just won't be able to do much. Of course, if you have a specific task and only that task, then perfect, get it, because it will do that well. But if you're trying to do a multitask like research and typing documents or doing anything regarding photos or videos, this is simply not it. It doesn't have enough resources. So I recommend just going at least $300. Don't go lower than that, because you want a better processor like the i series. Stay away from Celerons. So just go a little bit more. This is a little too cheap. You will not regret it if you just spend a few extra $100 to get more out of it, because you're going to want to use it for more than just one task, more than likely. As you see, it took that long to open iTunes, so I can't imagine any other program that's close to this. But all in all, definitely just spend a little bit more money and get an Intel i series, and definitely get no lower than 8 gigs of RAM. You definitely need that. Okay, so a quick recap. So get a computer that at least has an i series Intel processor and no lower than 8 gigs of RAM. And it's probably going to cost you over $300, but it's worth it. Do not go lower than $300 on a budget computer, because it's just not going to last you long. And I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have any suggestions, then also let me know, and I can try to review those to see if it's worth it. But all in all, just spend a little bit more money, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.